Hello dear students. In previous slide we have studied power flow equation where we have found out active power and reactive power and how we can change or control this active power and reactive power by controlling the excitation voltage of generator and power angle. So this power angle and excitation can be controlled by using different methods. For example, by using prime mover, excitation of generator, connecting shunt capacitor bank, using shunt reactors, and type changing transformer or regulating transformer. Now, in this point, we'll study how we can control the power flow in the AC system. There are two means by using parallel path and mesh network. In this section, we'll just be focusing on parallel path, and the mesh network will be given as assignment for you. So, at present, many transmission facilities confronts one or more limiting network parameters plus inability to direct power flow at will. That means in today's scenario, one or more networks are interconnected and there is inability to use DC power or to store the energy since we are generating AC power and we are controlling the AC power by using various parameters by for example by using transformers. That means we cannot store the energy which is possible in case of DC. So this is one of the drawbacks of AC power system, that we cannot store the energy. So it is very difficult to control the power flow in AC system when it comes to interconnected network. In AC power system, given the insignificant electrical storage, the electrical generation and load must be balanced at all time. So this is one of the challenge in AC power system, that we must balance the load. Otherwise, if the load are unbalanced, it will leads to loss of synchronism of the generators on the primary side. And when the generator loses its synchronism, there might be possibility of shutting down that generator or power cut. So this is one of the challenges while controlling the power flow in AC system, that we have to maintain the load balance at all time. If the generation is less than load, voltage and frequency drops and thereby load goes down to equal generation minus the transmission losses. So when it comes to load balance, we must see how much is the requirement at the load side, and depending upon the requirement there should be a generation. If there is unbalance between this load generation and sending of power from primary side to load, then there is change in voltage and frequency. When voltage and frequency gets changed, the generator loses its synchronism. However, there is only few percentage margin for such self-regulation. If the voltage is propped up with reactive power support, then the load will go up and consequently frequency will be dropping and the system will collapse. And if there is a reactive load connected in the system, for example inductive load, it will take maximum reactive power, and when the maximum reactive power is present in the system, the frequency of the system will get or will drop down, leading to the system collapse. System collapse means there is complete shutdown of power flow. Alternately, if there is inadequate reactive power, the system have voltage collapse. So, if reactive power increases, frequency drops down, and if reactive power is inadequate, voltage drops down. So, There are both the challenges in the power system, that is, we have to control the reactive power so as to maintain the frequency and voltage. When adequate generation is available, active power flows from surplus generation areas to the deficit areas. Surplus means generating side or primary side, and deficit areas means the secondary or load side. And it flows through all parallel paths available, which frequently involves extra high voltage and medium voltage line, that is nothing but transmission lines. So this is interconnected system or parallel system. So in this section we are just only concentrating on power flow in parallel lines. The second point is mesh network, that will be given as assignment for you. So the main point from this section is power flow in parallel paths. So consider a first network. Consider a very simple case of power flow as shown in figure. There are two parallel paths from surplus generating areas shown by equivalent generator on left hand side to deficit generation areas on the right side. Without any control, power flow is based on inverse of various transmission line impedances. Apart from ownership and contractual issues over which lines carry much power, it is likely that lower impedance line may become overloaded and thereby limit the loading on both paths even though higher impedance path is fully loaded. There would be an incentive to upgrade current capacity of overloaded path because this would further decrease impedance and the investment would be self-defeating, particularly if higher impedance path already has enough capacity. So in case of this simple network, the power flow is mainly dependent on the impedance, whether the line has low impedance or high impedance. When it has lower impedance, the current will flow through low impedance path, and when it has high impedance, it will bypass that. That means in this case, the control of power is mainly dependent on impedance. There is no other types of control available in this simple network. So second is figure B shows same two paths, but one of these has HVDC transmission. With HVDC, power flows as ordered by operator. That means here there is control over the power. In figure A, there was no any control, thus only the power was controlled by changing the impedances. Here we have connected the HVDC system. That means here power flow is controlled by the operator because with HVDC power electronics converters, power is electronically controlled. Also because power is electronically controlled, the HVDC line can be used to its full thermal capability or capacity. This was not case in case of first figure where only impedance was present and there was no other control. So with case of HVDC system, we can use that transmission line to its highest capacity if adequate converter capacity is provided. Furthermore, an HVDC line, because of its high speed control, can also help the parallel AC transmission line to maintain stability. It is one of the important concern, that is stability. When there is any short circuit condition occurring on the line, the power system has to maintain or to be the power system has to be in steady state condition for short duration. So this can be controlled by using HVDC system. However, HVDC is expensive for general use and is usually considered when long distance are involved, such as Pacific DC intertie on which power flows as ordered by the operator. So next type of controller in case of parallel lines are using fax controller. So there are three conditions in parallel lines. The first condition was a simple condition where there was no any control of power, where their power was only controlled using impedance. In case of second condition, we have connected HVDC system or HVDC converter to one of the parallel paths. Here, by using HVDC, we have complete control of power by the operator. Thus, it makes possible to use that lines to its highest capacity. Now the third types of control is by using fax control, that is nothing but the HVDC system is replaced by fax controller as shown in figure C and D. Figure C and D show one of the transmission line with different types of series type fax controller. By means of controlling impedance, figure C, or phase angle by figure D, or series injection of appropriate voltage, a fax controller can control the power flow as required. Maximum power flow can in fact be limited to its rated limit under contingency conditions when this line is expected to carry more power due to loss of parallel lines. So in case of HVDC system, we were using controlling the thermal capacity or the voltages, and by using this HVDC system we were using that transmission line to its highest capacity. Now in case of fax controller, we have the part that we can connect this fax control in series or parallel. When it comes to series, it controls the voltage, and when it comes to shunt, it controls the current. So there are two methods. When we connect the series fax controller, we can control the voltage directly, or we can control the phase angle. And we have already studied that when we control the excitation voltage and power angle del, it directly impacts on active power as well as reactive power. So this is one of the advantage of fax controller, that we can control the active voltage as well as reactive power or active power or reactive power by controlling excitation voltage and phase angle.